Hello and welcome to the docket presented by Defense Diaries. I am your host, Bob Mata, and I am joined by my beautiful, brilliant. Wow, look at you wearing the white headphones. What is
I
up?
didn't know. I didn't want to have any issues hearing or whatever. Oh,
I mean, they look like fire on your face. They're beautiful.
my
What?
poor man. You and your pain and your back and your neck.
I tried to hide it with the
Yeah.
houseplant sweatshirt. What's up, babe?
Hi, babe. Hi, all.
So, big day in court, and you did not
Tell
see
you've
1
been
minute
down
of it.
here.
You did not see 1 minute of it. Yeah, I had to record an ad.
Well, I know you just need to not tighten this so hard, but I did see the early stuff. I just didn't see Proctor. So the
So
most
you saw Bukhenik and the dude after him.
yes. So yeah, the most exciting thing that I saw was the second cop who I thought Lolly put on just as to help the defense, since he was pretty clear that when the taillight was just cracked, wasn't broken, it wasn't missing, it was just cracked.
Yeah, well, we're gonna revisit that. All right, so here's the deal. All right, we are keeping this short. If we're over like an hour 10,
No one can give me shit about telling Bob to go quicker or
yeah, I gotta travel tomorrow. I got this neck thing going on. I've been on all day with Jay, and somebody left a message the other day, posted on our recap. They're like, "Oh, you skipped stuff." I'm like, "This is a recap." If you want the full trial coverage, go to whoever, either Jay's channel, streaming, the Shaming of Jay over at Jay's channel or our channel. We're doing the full trial every day. This is a recap. A recap means that we're not going through every single thing that was said.
Right, so we're gonna have less rants because we're trying to be short. But before we do,
that's hilarious. The only person that's gonna be ranting, I got my rants out during the thing. This is all gonna be alley rants.
All right. So before we get into it, though, I do want to say that I spent some more time examining the pictures in the snow to the pictures they put up, and I have amended my position. There were definitely pieces of plastic that were picked up on 129 and photographed that match the pieces of plastic that were examined by Ashley, who did the reconstruction. And there's at least one piece in 7-5, which is one of the groupings that they used to reconstruct the taillight, that was in there. So I guess we're back to the default of, either they, right after that Michigas with the Sallyport, somebody runs back and brings some taillight with them, or Karen Reed's vehicle struck John. It's only one of those two things are the only two that could have happened.
Or he slipped and cracked his head on the
her taillight was found on 129.
Yeah, I understand that. That doesn't mean, in my theory of him, slipping and cracking his skull, if they land on Karen Reed and develop tunnel vision.
Well, correct. That's what I'm saying. Either they rushed over from the Sallyport and planted it right then for that first search, or her vehicle hit John O'Keefe.
Right, but my theory doesn't have to include all the people in the house. That's the
Well,
thing.
no, I'm not saying any of that. I've literally just said those
I
2
was just
facts,
making
which
sure that you're not poo-pooing my third theory, which I think actually has legs.
involves
Irony if that's what actually happened.
but that also involves
Yeah,
them
for sure.
rushing right over from the Sally port.
100%,
Right.
100%, definitely. Yeah, like in either one of those theories, it always involves them coming over to plant the evidence.
Right, but before I was thinking with it not being sealed until the 4th that they had more time. And now that I saw the photo from the cert that we were able to match up with with a piece they used to reconstruct, or at least pieces that were definitely reviewed by wow, the dog, by Ashley.
Yeah.
I know it had to happen real quick, right from the Sally port or on the way to the Sally port. Um, and so I just wanted to correct myself on that because
I mean,
so glad you're back.
you have to correct yourself in the sense that,
Well, I did
I mean,
figure it out.
if they didn't plant the evidence, then you should correct yourself. If they planted the evidence, then
Well,
you don't need to correct
well,
yourself.
no, right. They still could have planted it. I'm just still correcting that information because it was inaccurate.
Right. All
But
right.
I don't know how, the way Lolly presented it, I mean, if nobody's going to be doing what we had to do to figure that out. But go ahead, let's go.
All
Get
right.
me
So
to.
do you
So
do you
all
want
Bob has told me, by the way, is that it is a lot worse than we ever could have thought, and that's it because he wants me to.
Okay, so I mean, do you want to do any of Bukhenik or not really? I
Oh,
think
I don't care. Do whatever you want. I didn't think there was much. I don't remember what
well,
today.
people that are of the mindset that I guess the only part that I kind of want to handle is like not so much because Jackson's cross did not go that long. So uh like today, like he did not go as long as I thought he was going to. So I think what we should do is I like so Lally tries to rehabilitate him in terms of I just want to hear Lally's rehabilitation to see if you think he rehabilitated him. Because there were like people are like, oh, see, Bukhenik said it was okay, so it's okay. That type of shit. I'm like,
Oh
some
Lord.
dude, like some dude like was tweeting at me, calling me an unethical creator because I was spreading misinformation that the video was doctored. Okay, here the video was doctored.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say because I did watch some of it.
Uh,
If someone can explain to me how the other camera, it's part of the same system, like the fact that it was, I don't know what part you're gonna play, so maybe I should just
I'm
wait
just
until
gonna
you
start
play
with Lally's direct or
it.
his redirect. But this is
Okay,
right at the beginning of it.
speed it up. 1.25 is like you can't even tell.
But yeah,
I
I'm definitely
promise.
gonna do 1.25. You don't have to twist my arm on that one.
3 cameras, JS said.
So he's gonna start. He only deals with the video for like 2 minutes.
Can you hear that?
Yeah,
And
you can't hear it.
I'm wearing your thingies. Uh,
You gotta. All right. You have to go onto your Mac.
I'm in.
Okay, like go up to your toggle switch. All right, pull it down. Go to sound. See the little arrow
Yeah,
pointing to the
I'm in
right,
it. I'm in it. Sound, got it.
and then
Uh,
you hit.
it says it's going to. Oh wait, maybe I have the.
It's human error. Is your sound down?
Wait. It says that it's going to. I mean, I hear you in it, and it is set to go into it.
And
play it again. Maybe I can hear it.
Okay.
No. Makes no sense. Oh, they can't hear it either.
Wait. Okay, hold on. All right, hold on. How annoying.
Mm.
No one can hear it?
Making his best point right now. No one can hear it.
Okay. Alrighty then. All right. Let me I gotta unmute it. I don't What? All right, I'm pulling it off. Jay was having some issues with StreamYard too. I'm gonna stop screen share.
Make sure that check mark for audio is on.
It's always toggled on. It's never not toggled on. I don't get it. All right. Screen share.
I was just gonna say, and Goblin Mom beat me to it, that Lally just made his best point. Like while he was, we couldn't hear him.
I'm obviously gonna rewind it.
I know, but what I'm saying is that was gonna be my joke. Oh, Lally just made his best point ever.
Oh, I see. I see where you're going there.
And then I saw this.
All right, you guys immediately tell me in the stream if you can hear the volume, because
I think when I can hear it, they'll be able to hear it. Yes, I hear.
As far as the condition when you received it, the condition when it was played for the jury, what was different?
There was no manipulation, alteration of the video between.
I'll allow the answer.
Between when we received it from Canton Police Department, when I played it, and when it was played for you.
Now, as far as the cameras are motion activated, correct?
That's correct.
And as far as the skipping that you observed
while
at various points of the video, was that something that occurred once or more than once?
More than once, repeatedly.
And was it one specific portion of the video? And by that, I mean, was it only at the beginning or only in the middle or only at the end, or was it sort of throughout?
It's consistently happening when there's lack of motion. The video does not record because it's not triggered to record.
From the video, at least as far as you've seen, the one that you were shown on Wednesday and the one that you were shown today, or the portions that you were shown today, what, if any, difference did you note between the content of what's contained in the video?
The content of the video is accurate depiction of what's taken place. The only difference that I noticed today is that the version played was actually inverted from the original version that I received and which was produced.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would ask that the entirety of that 5 minutes and 51 seconds of video be played for the jury.
Okay.
You might have one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Bob's not here to zip past this. Boop, boop, boop. So that guy still disappears. He's moving. While he's moving, he disappears. So I don't know about that. This is relatively clear, although not, still grainy. So the system seems to not be glitching at whatever time all this is occurring. Oh, boop. It seemed like a little boop there.
Yeah, there was definitely a boop there.
That's just like
Carla was like pounding on the back door.
And that area just played before the jury. That is when the vehicle was brought in by the tow truck driver from the flatbed from the driveway video into the Sally Port area, correct?
That's correct.
That's probably why they had both doors open, so that they could manipulate this video either way they used it. Or you can see everybody. It's
Sergeant, I'm going to direct your attention to the person that just opened the driver's side door. That's the tow truck driver, is that correct?
You can zip past all this
Ask you to take a look at
with your little arrow, because
This is the part where Proctor's behind the thing. I'm not skipping by it. So tow truck guy goes out.
If I could direct your attention back to the ring video, think it was video 153 from
I have
Exhibit 6.
I have no idea
You
why
were
there's
shown
no
that video on
objection here
cross-examination and
outside of
asked
the
about
scope.
any movement that you saw on the driver's side rear tire, things of that nature. Do you recall that?
I do.
And do you recall that portion of the video when it's alleged that Ms. Reed's vehicle came close to or made contact with Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle in the driveway? At that point, did you observe any snow coming off of Mr. O'Keefe's car when they came close to each other? Objection.
But we did.
I'll allow it.
I don't remember exactly if there was snow coming off the vehicle. There was snow falling, and
The
that was
snow
captured
that
by the
came
ring
off
video.
the tire? Is that what he's talking
I
about?
don't recall if any snow came off the vehicle.
No, he's talking about when the car drove into the Sally Port.
I thought he said from the ring video.
Oh,
when,
is he? I don't know.
and he's talking about the snow still on that windshield. He was trying to say it was that little. It was just as light as that. See how it made a little snowfall? It was just a tap. That's what he was trying to establish, and it was way outside of the scope, obviously, to try to bring up that. They were sleeping at the defense table for that.
Like what are the time what are the time frames on this? Like I don't remember them showing any of this video with like the six, 7 cops in here.
No, they were shoveling.
But that's not the part where there were the glitches.
No.
Like, well, what is this showing? What is this proving? What?
That there's a video, and who's back by that back thing. I mean, he did say they never got near it. He's about to say he never even got near it. Maybe he's showing how in that same time when they were like, somebody just blipped up. Where'd that guy come from?
No, that guy was just walking. Like that was there's definitely a glitch there.
That guy came forward and turned around and went back out. There's all sorts of people over there by the thing. I don't know.
I guess what he's trying to prove is that there's portion of the video, like right there, where you see like a specter. Like you saw like a secondary. Like there was a little jump. There was a jump. So he's showing like 5 minutes of this video in order to establish that
it jumps a lot and
the little jumps in time
don't make a difference.
Right.
They don't mean anything. But I don't know how the explanation is. It's motion censored when everyone's walking around in there.
That makes no sense. And I mean, the bigger problem for me is that none of it makes any difference with respect to Proctor being by that taillight.
No.
like, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, when it's just, I guess it's Proctor, Bukhenik, and tow truck guy.
Why is tow truck guy still there?
I don't know.
So when he plays, this is supposed to be the exact same time from the other angle.
That video starts at approximately 5:30 p.m. on January 29th, correct?
Correct.
Is that before or after the ring video 153 from Exhibit 6 at 5:07 in the morning at Mr. O'Keefe's house when you can see the defendant's smashed taillight? Objection.
So,
Right.
The objection is sustained. Ask the question.
Why
5:30 p.m. on January
not ask
29th,
an
that's before or
answer?
after 5:07 a.m. When you observed the defendant's vehicle on the
They
ring
don't
video
like
at Mr.
the
O'Keefe's house?
That is
use
after.
of the term
Is
smash.
that before or after you observed on the ring video?
I know it was a ridiculous question.
Defendant, Ms. Roberts, and Ms.
But
McKay driving the defendant's vehicle. and
All
parking it
these
in the driveway
questions
of
he's
Mr. O'Keefe's
asking, he shouldn't be allowed to
It's
ask.
after.
And is it before or after about, say, 8:22 in the morning?
Is it before or after 8:22 in the morning?
From the driveway behind the defendant's vehicle.
It's after.
And is it before or
5:30.
after about 12:30 p.m. or so when the defendant and her father and her brother from the videos from Exhibit 6, the ring videos on One Meadows Ave, are parked in and around the defendant's vehicle and then leave with the defendant's vehicle to go to Deck?
It's after.
And is it
Is it
before
before or after the
the
officer
video that you
saw the
testified about,
taillight only
on
cracked?
Wednesday in regards to the surveillance video from the defendant's father's house in Dayton when that vehicle was being loaded onto the truck, and you can see the taillight there.
It's after.
It's after.
Come on, just get to the other video.
Now, again, you had a
you want me to
conversation during
Yeah, like we got to get to the good stuff. You're saying about wanting to stay at an hour or something. We're
All right, let me see what he gets into here.
Now, Sergeant,
It was a very short redirect.
between the version of the video that's
Here we
the
go.
jury witnessed on Wednesday and the version that you just witnessed the entirety of right now, again, what, if any, difference as far as the depiction or people or places between those two versions of the video?
Outside of it being a mirror image of itself, it accurately depicts any activity or action in the Sally Port.
And at any point in time that you were in the Sally Port area of the Canton Police Department garage, did you or Trooper Proctor ever go
Everybody
near,
wants
touch,
to just get to
manipulate,
Proctor.
the rear passenger side taillight area or the rear passenger side quarter panel of the defendant's vehicle?
We absolutely did not.
Well, we all just saw you near it. We all just saw you near it.
Now, if I could turn you back to some questions you were asked on cross-examination about something that was reported to the chief medical examiner's office. Do you recall that?
I do recall that.
All right,
And some
move on.
questions about statements that you had made to the OCME approximately.
Yeah, this is useless.
When did he play the other video?
What other video?
All right, so while you're just get us to the good stuff,
do
we
it.
don't
But I
We don't
would
need to do
need
the
to be
second
refreshed on my
guy.
memory.
Okay, fair enough.
and we definitely
Yes.
don't need to watch this.
Why?
Well, because the most, compelling thing that I forget what this is.
Yeah.
You forgot.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes, it does.
What did you say to the, or what did you report to the OCME?
That there was a possibility that
Yeah, you're right.
Or,
All right.
um,
But what I did find most
conversations at
compelling
the
while
police
you're just
department.
go
And
right
when
to
did-
Proctor.
Wait,
EMT Flamant.
you don't want me to skip Barrios?
provided
I mean,
at some
we
point.
all
Is there a
remember
single
what he said was the
report?
most important was all he saw was a crack and there was nothing missing.
Okay, how do you know that people saw it, honey?
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Like, why would I
All right,
skip
but
like the contradiction?
You're right. Then if you're doing this for people, assuming a lot of these people haven't watched it, you have to play that second
On the
video.
garage and remain with the vehicle.
What second video?
How do you not know this? The video from the other angle where it cut out and it was black and it was fuzzy the whole time?
From today
Yes.
with
Yes.
Buchanan?
Wasn't that with I only watched.
Why do you want me to play that portion? You mean the part that showed the back of the truck?
Yeah.
That video that was like, okay, well,
It's shocking to me. Why
Why
is
the-
that one not working? Why is it starting 40 minutes in? Do you remember how many minutes were missing when they first
42.
Exactly. And how many minutes were missing when they first produced the video before trial to the defense at the motions in limine? 40 minutes. So they tried to push their entry back 40 minutes so that they could not have had time to go and take the taillight there. This is what a possibility as far as I'm concerned, and I find it ridiculously suspicious. And I also find it suspicious that the judge, she's supposed to be the gatekeeper and she let this guy testify. Like, for example, something just like what Lolly just asked. At any time, we've all seen it. At any time, did you ever go near that passenger side rear of the car? How does she even let him say no? I mean,
That's like, I don't know where that is with that video. I thought it was today, but
it
this
was
is
definitely today.
Was it on? It couldn't have been on redirect because he didn't bring it
No.
up on direct or on cross.
No. Are you all the way at the beginning?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy. I don't get it.
I thought I remembered seeing that today too.
No,
Oh,
there it is. It was definitely today. Okay,
This-
so this is the video from
this
the
is the shitty one. Like the
right.
state had like a better version of it.
Okay, let me speak. This is the video from the other camera pointed at the other way in the Sally port for the
Right.
same, supposedly the same time frame, but wait, are you at the beginning?
Yeah, they're gonna try to lighten.
Did you see what was depicted on the video?
Oh,
that
it
just
was on
ran
read. You're
from
right.
5:07 and a few seconds until it was just paused.
I did watch the video.
And how much time would you estimate elapsed as we just watched that video in real time?
15 seconds, maybe.
Okay. And do you see something? You see something in the foreground that just sort of appeared there next to that antique police car.
It appears that the SUV has now pulled into the Sally port, and there's an individual standing behind the SUV.
And do you see what the time of day is on that timer?
I do not.
Can you see that it's paused at 5:50 and 46 seconds?
I cannot.
Okay, so pause it. So that is extremely compelling right there. So what he is establishing is that the video, and this is we know to be
I
the
had parked
first
my,
Sorry. I accidentally dragged it way deep.
the first video that was produced to the defense by the prosecution because it was subject to a motion in limine, that all of a sudden the car is just there when the video starts. So the argument was, you're saying it's motion censored, and Jackson argued at the motion in limine that the very definition of motion is the fact that that car pulled in and the video is starting when it's already there, and the timestamp is 5:50. 5:50. So that other camera doesn't pick up anything that occurred from 5:37 to 5:50 on the passenger side of the vehicle. And that's the only video they initially produced until April 24th, 2024. And then this other video, the inverted video, appears. But not only is it this much darker and grainier, it's like completely. Keep playing it.
Okay. I don't even know if I'm in the right spot.
You're
It's the
fine.
last time, Sergeant, would you please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
He's making him get down. You can blip past it to confirm the time. Just keep going.
Video is paused.
That's correct. 5:50:46.
5:50 and 46 p.m. Correct?
That's correct.
So it appears that this video in about 15 seconds jumps 42 minutes to the 5:50 mark. Correct?
I don't know how much it jumps.
Well, from 5:08 approximately to 5:50 approximately, how much time is that?
Approximately 48.
42 minutes, right?
Excuse me, 42.
That's okay. And Ms. Reed's vehicle, which shows the right rear taillight portion, just appears, correct, at 5:50.
There's a vehicle that appears. There appears to be an individual standing behind the vehicle. It's not just a taillight that appears.
But Sergeant, the exact time that would show what Trooper Proctor was doing at the right rear taillight, that is missing.
objection.
Sustained.
So the exact time that would show what the person who you identified on Wednesday as being Trooper Proctor, that video is not there, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
This video, Sergeant, you will agree,
I don't know
if
why.
that
he's
42-minute period
sustaining his
existed,
objections.
that would have been the only video that would establish the actual condition of the taillight the moment the SUV arrived in police custody in that Sally Port, correct?
Objection.
You can ask that differently.
Is there any other video other than this one that would show the exact condition of that taillight as it pulled in to the driveway, to the Sally Port? Or is this the only one?
From that location,
Correct.
that is the video that captures that time frame.
And that's also the video that captures that area of the car, correct? The right rear portion of the car.
Correct.
And that 42 minutes from when the car arrived until 5:50 in the evening, that portion is missing, correct?
It's not missing. It's just not recorded.
It's not there, Sergeant Bukhenik. I'm not splitting words with you, splitting hairs. It's not there. It's gone, correct?
It's not on the screen now.
Right. And his
Not either, is
argument
it?
is because it's motion
I do not know.
censored. But we all know, because we've seen the other video from 5:37 to for 10 minutes, or for even for 3 minutes, they're all moving around both sides of the car.
Right.
So how in the hell would it not go on?
I can't remember if he addresses this
It was
in
not-
redirect. Like this is this. I saw a crisper version of that video.
Well, you saw a crisper version of them on February 2nd when they're doing the inspection, like they're doing the removal of the unit.
After mid-April, correct?
I believe so. I'm strictly speculating.
Who asked you to retrieve that video?
I did not retrieve that
This is
video.
just
I'm
saying
sorry,
that
that's a presumptuous question. At what point were you asked to secure the video, or were you ever asked to secure the video?
That video was never secured by me. I was not asked to secure it.
all right,
I
say his
just
name.
was asked to review it.
Okay, so who did secure the video to your knowledge?
I do not know.
You were aware that it was, well, let me ask you a couple of different questions then, based on that. You've already testified that you knew that the Canton Police Department was recused from any
All
investigation.
right, we don't need to
I
hear all
want to
that.
hear this. Like
Okay.
people, like this is his
At one
thing.
point, we learned
I didn't get this
that
video until the
the
trial
Canton Police Department,
started.
the decision was
You
made
can't
way
have
above
it
my
all the time.
level. And I was advised by Detective Lieutenant Tully that Canton Police had recused themselves from the investigation as far as interviews go.
And you knew that that recusal was because of a connection between the Canton Police Department and the Albert family, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you know, or were you informed that the recusal was based on the connection between the Canton Police Department and the Albert family?
Objection.
So it's sustained for the same reason I sustain the Commonwealth's objection. It's bar, Mr. Jackson.
Last question. Who provided the video?
I do not know.
Canton Police Department, wasn't it?
You asked who? That's an entity.
Okay. What entity provided the video?
It came from the Canton Police Department.
Thank you. That's
Just
Okay, I am, unless you know the precise moment this guy says that the thing was only cracked, then I want to skip right to Proctor and just say what he
I'm
said.
not doing
Needed
that.
a ride due to the snowstorm.
Bob,
It's like
And
the
then,
whole thing.
as your shift continues, what if any
I
further
think I do
contact
know.
or who, if anyone, reached out
I
to you
think
in
I know the
regard?
exact
um,
minute. Dizzy came through. I was just going to torture you a little bit.
and then we can get to Proctor because you're
I did.
driving the
What, if anything, did you
viewers
observe
crazy.
about that?
Here it
interview?
is.
I saw that there was some damage to the right rear taillight. To my best ability and recollection, that taillight was not completely damaged. It was cracked and a piece was missing, but not
piece was
completely
missing.
damaged.
And then
All right,
beyond the
pause
taillight area of that vehicle, what if any,
I did.
and what if anything did you observe
Right.
about that area of the vehicle?
Just move up to Proctor while I speak. So that to me, because that I did see, and I was just like, wow, thanks, Lolly. You just put on the defense's case. I mean, this guy, I felt, was very clear to go out of his way to say what I observed. In my opinion, it wasn't missing. There wasn't a pieces missing. There was a small piece missing and it was cracked. It was like, I don't know if Lolly didn't know he was going to say that or what, but it, to me,
Well, so the pushback that I saw on Twitter today, that people were saying that Barrio saying that it was cracked and was missing a piece. People on the Karen Reed are guilty team are saying that they're considering that entire assembly part, that big giant piece, to be one part of the taillight. So the skinnier part that's to the net, they're considering each of those different elements that make up the full taillight.
he said a crack. He said
Crack
a crack.
and one little piece missing.
I
And
might have
then
added
my
the little piece
reply to
missing,
that was, oh, so you think that the jury is going to think that this guy meant that the one piece was missing was the 45-piece jigsaw puzzle that the tech put together? Like
Right.
that's what you're saying.
I
Like,
think
no-
it's the one piece that they couldn't put back
Right.
together because
that's exactly what it is. It's exactly the small piece in the corner. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna skip in Proctor's. We're gonna skip all his stuff.
Right. He didn't say a small piece. I said a small piece. I took it that way. He said a piece. That's
Okay, so we're gonna go to 30435.
it seemed to me that that's what he was conveying, because he was like, it wasn't like gone, it wasn't
on the right side of the vehicle.
broken, it was a
We then
crack.
proceeded to the front door. The snow was about up to our waist, and knocked on the door and was greeted by Mr. Reed.
As you're walking up the driveway towards the home, you see Ms. Reed's vehicle. Is that correct?
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
And that's a vehicle that you later subsequently found to be registered to Ms. Karen Reed. Is that correct?
Correct.
May I approach?
Yes.
So I'm showing you documents, 4 pages in length. Just ask you to review that after I'm finished. And do you recognize that document, sir?
Yes.
What do you recognize it?
The Registry of Motor Vehicles, it's the certified document for Miss Reed's Lexus.
Is that the plate information that's contained in there? Is that the same plate that was affixed to Ms. Reed's vehicle on that day?
Yes.
And that also details sort of the history or how long she's had possession of that vehicle? Is that
We don't need that shit. So he goes back to the taillight for a minute here.
if anything you know?
When ice had melted from the taillight.
So as far as the condition of that particular taillight, was it in essentially the same condition that you observed it on the 29th when you observed it on the 1st?
Yes, it was still broken and large pieces missing from it.
But as far as the broken status of it and the pieces that were
Complete
missing, were there
opposite of what
is it any more broken or
I
any more
think
pieces missing from it when
that
you saw it on the
earlier
first
officer
versus when you saw it on
testified
the
to.
29th? And with respect to the taillight housing for that vehicle on that particular day, what, if anything, happened with it on that day, if you know?
The state police chemist, Ms. Hartnett, had it removed, which she brought to the lab herself.
So she had it removed it herself, and then physically took it with her when she left to the lab?
Yeah, it was with the assistance of a Canton police officer who had an auto body shop, so he's kind of well versed in cars, so he was able to assist the chemist with removing the housing unit.
Now, at any point in time on that day of February 1st, 2022, did you come into contact physically or otherwise with that tail light? Did you handle it in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Your Honor, if I may, with court's permission, I would request to publish. Give me one moment, Your Honor.
Are you ready to get to the shit?
I am so ready.
All right, let's go. There's a lot of blah blahs, blah 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 blah. Text message. Boop 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 boop. Oh, this is gonna be so fun.
Document. Do you recognize that?
It's a text message thread labeled Proctor Friends.
Now, over the course of your investigation, over the course of this case, you're aware that there were iCloud data that was obtained from your personal cell phone?
Yes.
And different text strings from that iCloud data from your personal cell phone, correct?
Correct.
And with respect to what has just been placed before you, is that an excerpt or a piece from those particular messages?
It is.
And from the front page of that, can you tell the jury who are sort of the participants in this particular text communication?
There's several numbers that aren't identified. The 3 that are under kind of nicknames me and my buddies have for each other.
And generally speaking, just as far as the participants in this text communication, who are these people to you, and how do you know them? How long have you known them? Who are they?
The members on this text thread are close friends from junior high, first grade even.
So people you've known for years, is that correct?
Correct.
And do each of them live, or do any of them live within the general area at this time?
Some of them do, yes.
And so when some of them do, some of them do not, is that correct?
Correct.
And the ones that do not, how far away do they live?
As far away as Tennessee.
Now, with reference to this, there's an indication as far as the first message sent or last message
He's
sent.
really,
from
he's
this
really like,
particular
these
text
are
chain,
real personal friends. So I'm, saying things I wouldn't otherwise.
Sort of towards the middle of the first page. I'll direct your attention to that area. Is there any indication as far as the first message sent and the last message sent with respect to this text chain?
On the first page, yes.
And what is indicated as far as the first message and the last message?
The first message is, I need to brandish a gun more often. The last is, Chip, name of that BPD cop.
No, I'm sorry, sir. If I could direct your attention to the first page in this packet, page 2527, you see conversation details.
Did you
Sorry,
give me
may I
the right
go?
packet?
Yes.
You might.
So if I could direct your attention to the right.
Okay.
You see what I was talking about now?
I do, sir.
And from that area labeled conversation details, there's a first message sent date and time and a last message sent date and time, correct?
Yes.
What is the first message sent date and time?
That's 10/18 of 2021 at 8:48 a.m. The last message sent is 8/31/2022 at 11:19 p.m.
And is there also within that conversation details an indication as far as number of messages over that time frame within this communication?
There is.
And what does it list for number of messages?
It's 38,707.
And fair to say the packet that you have before you does not contain all 38,707 messages, right?
That's correct.
The first message that you had, I believe, alluded to in reference to the first one listed within this communication, what date and time is that?
That was January 29th, 2022 at 10:36 p.m.
And who is that message from?
My friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what, if anything, did he send to the group?
I need to brandish a gun more often.
And if you know, what is that in reference to?
Stupid.
In that nature. The next one is, it's bold.
And is there a name associated with that number that's in these?
No,
Do you know who that person is?
I don't.
And the next message, sir, from 10:52 p.m.
Chip, name of that BPD cop.
And Chip, who is that referring to, sir?
That is one of my nicknames I've had since maybe high school.
So a nickname that would be familiar amongst these group of friends in particular?
Yes.
And this time period when these text messages begin, sometime after 10:30 or 10:50 p.m. on January 29th, where are you and what are you doing in reference around that time period?
At this point in time, on the 29th, I'm home.
And that last text message, do you respond to that at approximately 10:53 p.m.?
Yes.
And what was your response?
John O'Keefe.
And the next message down from there, also at 10:53 p.m.?
Yes. He
Did I?
took custody of his sister's kids.
That's your response. There's another response above that, is that correct?
Yes.
And what does that say?
How old?
And you respond as far as he took custody of his sister's kids, correct?
Correct.
Skipping down a couple, you see an entry at 10:53:49 p.m.
Yes.
And that's from a 617 number, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the response there?
Oh man, that's rough.
And following that, do you respond
Wait,
to the
this is
earlier
after
query
he's
as far as
been
age?
found dead?
I do.
What did you say?
Mid-40s.
Now, the next message below that, as far as indication of mid-40s, what is that?
His age.
No, I understand that. I'm sorry. The next message underneath that, sir.
I'm sorry. It's a Facebook link.
And do you recall what that Facebook link is to?
It's to John O'Keefe.
And is that something you sent or one of your friends sent?
One of my friends sent.
And the next message below, turning to now page 2529 at the top there, what is the next message that's sent?
What's that? Don't have the book anymore.
And as far as the book, what did you understand that to mean?
Sure.
So did we fast forward through something, or was the first time they got anywhere near January 29th, it was just the word John O'Keefe? We can't hear you. You're muted.
This is the very beginning of the text messages. You have not missed a thing. I promise.
So do you have that copy for me?
They ended up taking a half an hour break here. It's obnoxious. All right, I'm not going to skip by 5 seconds at a time. What a nightmare that would be. Okay. Buckle up, Buttercup.
I mean, you built this up. I'm like, I don't even know what to expect.
See, John?
Yes.
Trooper, if I can direct you back to page 2529 within that packet before you.
I predict outrage.
And below that text stating what's that? I don't have the book anymore. You respond, is that correct?
Yes.
And what is it that you say there?
This one is a nightmare. Forget about the kids. That's awful.
And sir, if I could direct your attention again within that same packet to 2532. And there's a message there sent at 10:56 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who's that from?
A friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what does he say in that text?
I'm sure the owner of the house will receive some shit.
And you respond at 10:56 as well as 10:57. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is it that you respond?
My first response was nope. Homeowner is a Boston cop too.
Oh.
And
What?
what, if anything, were you saying, or what was the purpose of that text in regard to the homeowner?
Oh, he gets to.
I was just letting him know that
Oh.
essentially Mr. O'Keefe is a Boston cop and the homeowner was a Boston cop as well.
No, that's not what you were letting
If I
him
could turn
know.
your attention to 2533.
Nope.
And top of the page, sir, if you could
They're trying to make
read
that
through
sound
page
normal.
as far as who's texting and what do they say?
Again, for my friend from Tennessee and myself, I hope not, but I can't see it. I responded with, she waffled him. I looked at his body at the hospital. He was banged up.
Now, as far as the next text from a 781 number,
Mhm.
What does that say?
Did he get beat up?
And you responded to that, is that correct?
I did.
The objection is sustained as to form.
What, if any, response did you provide to that?
Nope.
Objection was to the former question and the answer.
I'll strike it.
Now, turning your attention to 2534. And from this page, sir, if you could, again, just read through as far as indicating to the jury who's speaking and what is being said.
From the start of the first text, so the owner of the house,
Yes.
so the owner of the house was a woman cop that beat him. That's what I initially thought after talking to Can paramedic. Then I saw the guy.
And those last two are your responses, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, the following text messages are from your friends, is that correct?
Yes.
What do they say?
Bear, let's focus. What does she waffle to mean? What's the story? I responded, she hit him with her car.
And the she that you're referring to there, who is that?
Miss Reed.
Now, turning your attention to the next page, 2535. Again, if you could start to indicate to the jury who is talking and what is being said.
Okay. My friend in Tennessee states, okay, that's fucked up. I respond, intentional or not. Then another response, gotcha. He was frozen in the driveway and she didn't see him, question mark. That's another animal we won't be able to prove. And then I respond, they arrived at the house.
Sorry.
Another animal we won't be able to prove.
What? Wait, sorry.
Another driveway and she didn't see him, question mark. That's another animal we won't be able to prove. And then I respond, they arrived at the house together, gone to an argument.
I don't want to speak out loud or out of turn.
The objection's overruled.
Your Honor,
But
if I could say this, there needs to be an identifier of who's
I
speaking.
understand what you think the mix-up is. So, Mr. Lally, go back.
Thank you.
Sir, if you could please, again, start at the top of the page and just indicate.
No, just after the gotcha, he was frozen in the driveway, correct, Mr. Jackson?
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
I respond, that's another animal we won't be able to prove. I follow that up. They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left. 781 number responds with, what's the name of the Canton cop living in Canton? The other one involved.
And how do you respond to that, sir?
There's several other messages before I issue a response.
Objection again. Bottom of the page.
So it's not an objection, but Mr. Lally, why don't you point him?
So, sir, at the bottom of page 2535, you have a response. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is that response?
They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left.
Objection.
So it's going to be a matter you can address on cross.
There has to be some accuracy with the reading.
So I understand. So, Mr. Lally, why don't you go point for your witness?
I mean, what in the hell,
Yes.
Lolly?
hmm
She does seem irritated.
Oh, you ain't seen shit yet. This is nothing. This is nothing. You're gonna lose your fucking mind, man. I'm serious.
Okay. It's a HTML link, whiteout /Proctor iCloud /group chat Feb 2022. So you point out.
The judge is going
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Lally, it's on there. Why don't you go show your witness?
Wow.
Why don't you just read it, Mr. Lally, and tell us who you attribute it to?
Sure. So, sir, what I'm asking you about is the bottom of page 2535, excuse me, 26.
All right.
What did you mean by that?
Wait, I didn't hear it.
Misread Correct.
What did you
No,
mean?
babe,
Jesus.
I'm asking you about is the bottom of page 2535.
just let it go.
Excuse me,
No, people are telling me to fast forward. I'm ignoring them.
2535.
You went right
You
past.
indicated Bukhenik, correct?
Correct.
What did you mean by that?
That Miss Rita struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
Oh, that's why they want to fast forward, because it's not getting to the good stuff yet.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2537.
I was
Not
trying not to
fast
look at the
forwarding.
chat.
Now, do you see a response toward the bottom of the page from yourself, January 29, 2022 at 11:04 p.m.?
Yes.
And can you read that response for the jury?
Yeah, but there'll be some serious charges brought on the girl.
And what did you mean by that, sir?
That throughout the course of the day, we had compelling evidence that Miss Reed struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
How did they have compelling
And,
evidence
you
when they
have
didn't
two
have any
responses.
evidence yet?
Friends,
Melanie and I were talking about that
friends,
yesterday.
Bottom of that page, 2537, is that
They didn't even
correct?
tail light. They
correct.
didn't.
And what are those responses?
Maybe they did.
Keep your voice up loud,
Tail light by
please. Trooper Proctor, jurors can't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor. Number ending in 5051. Got to be. I can only imagine what internal affairs of the BPD are trying to get out there. The second response, same number. She hot at least.
And turning your attention to the next page, 2538, at the top, if you could just read a number series of responses from yourself, correct?
Yes, sir.
Read from those, sir.
Yep. So these came from me. From all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. She's a whack job. CUNT.
Objection.
So
Yeah.
don't spell it. You have to. So these are your words, Trooper Proctor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
Say them, asshole.
Yes, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though.
What?
Though, no ass.
And sir, what is it that you were referring to there, or why would you text that?
These were, from all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. Is talking about the homeowner, Mr. Albert. I had mentioned the compelling evidence against Miss Reed at this point indicated that Mr. Albert had nothing to do with Mr. O'Keefe's death. The rest of the unprofessional and regrettable comments are something I'm not proud of, and I shouldn't have wrote in a private or any type of setting.
Sir, at some point,
That's really
if I could
just
turn your attention to page 2540.
Oh, weird Fall River
There's a
accent. I
photograph that's shared
glanced
within
over
this text
because
communication. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
she's not
And
from
does it
Canton.
indicate who shared that photograph? From the prior page, possible.
The number ending in 5051.
And who is depicted in that photograph that was shared within the group text?
It's Miss Reed being escorted out of the State Police Milton Barracks.
And these are all from February 1st of 2022, around that time frame. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, sir, if I could direct you to page 2543. And sir, if I could direct you to the top of the page and ask you to read through that page, indicating who's speaking and what the content of those communications are.
Okay. Number ending in 4146. Question is that chick a smoke? Again, 4146 question mark. I respond EH. I respond again, nut bag, as chief would say. I also respond with, she's got a leaky balloon knot, leaks poo.
What?
She's got a leaky balloon knot, leaks poo. He's making fun of her Crohn's disease.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what, if anything, is that in reference to?
Again, to Ms. Reed's some medical conditions there. Again, unprofessional comments I should not have made.
I don't think he should be allowed. Why is he
that I'm
allowed
not
to?
proud of.
Give his bullshit excuses.
Right. Just fucking read your words.
As far as attitudes expressed within these text messages and other text messages, what, if any, impact did that have as far as your investigation was concerned regarding this?
These juvenile, unprofessional comments have zero impact on the facts and the evidence and the integrity of this investigation.
How many times did you practice that in the mirror?
They said these are unprofessional comments, but they absolutely do not detract from the integrity of the investigation or the facts and evidence of it.
All right, may I approach this retreat?
Yes.
We've seen text messages amongst yourself and a variety of different people from that same sort of iCloud area of your personal phone, correct?
There
Correct.
must be too many in
And
between
among
that are not
those
admissible.
Are there communications that you had with members of the Canton Police Department?
Yes.
And how would you characterize, or
Defense
what
probably
was
will,
the,
right?
the general content of communications that you had with members of the Canton Police Department?
One communication was to coordinate interview times for firefighters and police officers and to set up a conference room. If there any was that are in the, I reached.
You don't need to hear his bullshit.
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that to be, sir?
Text communications between my sister and I.
That's your sister Courtney, is that correct?
That's correct.
And similar to what I'd asked you about the prior packet, as far as a first message sent, date and time, last message sent, date and time, what is indicated on this first page?
First message sent, date, time, December 10th, 2021 at 9:33 p.m. Last message sent, 8:30, 2022 at 8:48 p.m.
And 8:30, that's August 30th, is that correct?
I'm sorry, yes, August 30th, 2022.
And similarly to the other messages, is there an indication as far as how many number of messages were sent between yourself and your sister over that time period?
So they've been investigating him since August of
2,865.
22.
And fair to say that the documents in front of you
At
do
least.
not contain 2,865 messages?
Correct.
Now, just in reference to the first message on page 2662, the first page in this packet, do you see that from December 10th of 2021 at approximately 9:33 p.m.?
Yes.
And what does that indicate?
A text message from my sister.
What does it say?
I called earlier, Dolph earlier, and mom was puking in the background.
And do you recall what that was in regard to?
From the sounds of it, my mother had the stomach bug.
slowly.
And sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2667. And these are text messages from January 29th, 2022, between yourself and your sister Courtney. Correct?
Correct.
And if you could read from the top of the page through the end, and please indicate to the jury as far as who's talking and who's saying what.
So I texted my sister at work, "What's up?" She responds, "What? Why?" I respond, "Oh, just found it frozen to death on a front lawn in Canton this morning."
Wait.
Actually,
Can you
just
not
interviewed
read?
Jen McCabe, said she knows you,
Wow.
And they knows you, who are you referring to?
my sister.
And how
Wait.
did your sister respond to that?
Cut the shit. I responded, "You." It was a typo correction with my response to you. She responded, "Yeah, she knows Jack very well. She's really good friends with Julie." My sister continues on. Her sister is married to Brian Albert. My sister asks, "You still working?" ? I says, "Yeah, going to be out for a while. Homicide."
And as far as your answers to those questions, or as far as your communications that you had with your sister at this time on the afternoon of January 29th, what were those in regard to, or why were you communicating that to your sister?
At that time, it was just kind of in the news. I was just kind of letting her know I was out working. She didn't share anything specific. I wouldn't share anything specific on cases with my family or anyone.
What?
It was
What?
just
Oh,
kind
you
of
wouldn't
an
do that.
overall innocent conversation.
He started with
Turn your
Jen
attention
McCabe
to the
said
next
you're
page,
friends, right?
2669. Again, if you could read from that page as far as who was talking and what the content is.
All right. My sister starts off, "The Canton thing is a homicide." I respond, this is at 3 in the afternoon on the 29th. "Don't say a word to anyone." She said, "Of course not." I respond, "In the very least, it's suspicious." She responds, "This is your livelihood." And then, "I would never miss with that." 3:07, I respond, "Julie and Chris were at the bar with the victim and girlfriend. Got to interview them."
Wow.
I can direct your attention to page 2672. These are messages from February 1st, 2022. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the one at the top starts about February 1st, 5:57 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And again, if you could read through as far as who's speaking and what the content of those messages are.
I texted my sister, "What's up?" She responded, "Nothing. I just saw Julie, and she said when this is all over, she wants to get you a thank you gift." And I respond, "Get Elizabeth one." Elizabeth's my wife. And my sister responds, "Because I guess her and Chris were friends with John, and she's so proud of you for leading this." And then she writes, "Elizabeth ? I respond with, "She's been stuck with the kids for the last 10 nights. My sister responded with, "Yeah, but she knew what life is like married to a cop."
And sir, as far as the gift that's mentioned, as far as Julie Albert, is that anything that you have received at any point in time?
I never received a gift. I never asked for a
you
gift. My
didn't
wife never
say-
received a gift.
It's inappropriate. Tell her she shouldn't be sending a gift. So, I mean, who gives a fuck whether you received it or not? You didn't turn it down.
Right. Gift for what? Doing my job? Like that's
Oh, because she's so proud of you for leading this. Why would she be proud of him for doing his job?
right.
Get him a gift.
She never asked for a gift.
So how would you describe this context of this conversation, or why that's being discussed at this time?
Again, I don't know the thought process of my sister and Julie as far as bringing that idea of a gift into play. Like I said, I didn't ask for one. I never received one. The same with my wife.
And you didn't turn down
So if I
one,
could direct your attention to page 2676.
or even seem surprised that she would want to give you a gift for leading
And
the
again, if I could ask
investigation.
you to start at the top of the page and read through and just indicate as far as who is saying, who is speaking and what they're talking.
I start out, we write like 8 to 12 warrants on each case. My sister responded, no, I have no idea what the hell you do or how it works. I responded on the 10th at 7:36 p.m. I'm starving, but I also just want to go home. Thanks, though. My sister responds, yeah, but is dinner going to be waiting? She responded with, ha, ha, ha. And then I responded, yep. And then my sister responded with, okay, it's fine. Mom and I just don't want to go home.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mhm.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Maybe you can put this at one.
And what do you recognize that?
This is private messages between my wife and I.
Again, what is your wife's name?
Elizabeth.
And what, if anything, does that indicate as far as dates and times and number of messages involved?
Okay, so the first message sent 5/20/2022 at 6:19 p.m. The last message sent 8/31/2022 at 9:16 p.m.
And what, if any, indication does it give as far as number of messages within that?
Skip to the message part,
1,632.
like a 5.
And of those 1,162, there's one message
5
that's
seconds.
listed on that, is
All right,
that correct?
never mind.
Correct.
And what is the date and time of that message, and what does it say, and who's speaking?
This is me speaking on June 9th, 2022 at 4:56 p.m. I text my wife waiting to lock this whack job up.
What days? What time?
What are you referring to in that text, sir?
At 4:50.
Who's speaking?
This is me speaking on June 9th, 2022 at 4:56 p.m. I text my wife waiting to lock this whack job up.
And what are you referring to in that text, sir?
I'm referring to the arrest after Ms. Reed was indicted by the grand jury.
And again, as far as the terminology that you use in that text message to your wife, why is it?
Again, unprofessional messages I should not have sent. I don't have an explanation other than they're regrettable and something I'm not proud of, the language I used.
May I approach the retriever?
Yes. All right, so Trooper Proctor, the jurors can't hear you. So speak directly into your microphone the way I'm doing, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, she wants to make sure they hear whatever's coming next, maybe. I mean, this is like going to turn into what happened with OJ when they had all those racist texts. It was like, I can't. That's it. This investigation's not trusted anymore. Give a little 5-second thing, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Yours at the state police? Within the same text communications from your personal phone with colleagues of yours at the state police?
Yes.
And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
5 seconds. Give us 5 seconds.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
5 seconds.
Some of the comments, text communications among your friend group. With reference to at that particular time frame and the language that you used. What sort of information had you gathered to that point, and why would you say or use that particular language in your, particularly
Is he
in your
still talking about the
description?
wacko thing?
So this is, 16, 18 hours later, and I conducted multiple interviews.
Speak up.
Conducted multiple interviews. We knew Mr. O'Keefe never went into Fairview Road. We knew there was one shoe at the scene, one shoe at the hospital. Based off Mr. O'Keefe's injuries, Ms. Reed's statements when Sergeant Bukhenik and I interviewed her, her broken taillight, the missing taillight, some taillight pieces found at the scene, the compelling evidence pointing directly at Ms. Reed that she struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle led me to make those comments. Whether, like I said, they weren't professional comments, but based on the day's investigation, it was clear that Ms. Reed had struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
So if I could turn your attention to the documents before you, do you recognize those?
I do.
And as far as the participants in that particular conversation, who were the participants listed there?
It's Trooper David DeChico and myself.
And Trooper DeChico and yourself
The one who
both work
found-
within the same unit with the state police, is that correct?
That's correct.
And beyond the professional relationship you have with yourself, between yourself and Trooper DeChico, how would you characterize your relationship, generally speaking?
We're buddies, we golf together, hang outside of work, our kids play together. So I'd say, we're friends.
Now, within the, again, as far as the first message sent, date and time, and last message sent, date and time within this conversation, if you could describe that for the jury.
First message sent, date and time, March 17th, 2022, 11:08 a.m. Last message sent, date and time, August 18th, 2022, 6:08 a.m.
And again, the number of messages listed within this text chain.
87.
And fair to say the documents before you do not contain 87 text messages, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Now, just in general terms, if you have an opportunity to just look at the first couple pages there, fair to say those are just sort of jokes that you have going back and forth between yourself and Trooper DeChico. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
2632.
Here we go.
And these are text messages starting on April 28, 2022 at 10:52 in the morning. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, what was the time again, sir?
April reference to this page. If you could read the content to the jury and please indicate whom is speaking at each respective times.
Okay. I said out without a doubt, he's got diarrhea of the mouth too. Trooper DeChico, rookie move, not going into a meeting with the ME and getting that homicide determination. I respond. Yuri and I had two conference calls with her, sent her numerous photos, etc.
Wow.
We laid out the entire case for her. Trooper DeChico responds, not good enough. Should have had me or Jeff do it. I
Wow.
respond, if you two did it, she would have made it accidental or natural causes.
And can you explain the context of those communications, or what exactly is it that you
Because you thought it
DeChico
was
are talking about in that?
accidental?
Okay, so the ME is the medical examiner. They conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. Our office, it's kind of a little bit of a locker room.
Hold on, wait for the ambulance and then speak up. The jurors can't hear you way back where the court officer's standing.
Every time a cop lies, an angel gets his wings. That's what they say.
So like I said, the ME stands for medical examiner. They conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. I guess I'll address the conference calls Sergeant Bukhenik and I had with the medical examiner. The doctor had some questions as to the facts and evidence, kind of what had transpired, which is common,
Yeah, but you had very little facts.
I've had many calls with the medical examiner's office, even if it's a suicide or overdose, always with a homicide, the doctor wants to know what transpired. Trooper DeChico and myself, we kind of like to bust each other's chops, go back and forth. So that's what he meant by saying, rookie move, not going into a meeting with the ME and getting that homicide determination.
No, that's
The
not
original
busting
determination
chops.
came back. It was,
Sustained. Next question, Mr. Rowley.
So
Now,
you
as
didn't
far as
pressure the ME enough.
attending the autopsy, is that something that typically someone within your office would do, within your unit would do with regard to any sort of death investigation?
yes.
And do you know who attended the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe in this specific case?
Trooper O'Keefe.
And so as far as Trooper DeChico's reference to you not going in, or Sergeant Bukhenik not going in, is that what you believe Trooper DeChico was referring to in that message?
Objection.
Sustained as.
Exactly. He shouldn't he shouldn't even be allowed to ask anything
You
like that.
indicated that you and Trooper DeChico bust each other's chops. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And can you describe a little more, expound upon that as far as the nature of your relationship and sort of the text messages that you exchange in this and then other communications that you have?
Basically just, kind of needling each other, and him doing that is by saying, texting me, rookie move, not going into meeting with the medical examiner. So that's a perfect example of him kind of just needling me, which we do on a daily basis.
And as far as your
So
I
you
don't.
know,
Go ahead.
look, I mean, I say it all the time that cops are always in on the autopsies, and they're always feeding the medical examiner what their theory of the case is. It's like, that's why, can you trust an autopsy by an ME when you've got the cops in there in their ears?
Right.
I mean, you're hearing like the inner
It's
workings.
always slanted.
right
They are
here.
always trying to help the cops, and they can, if they can fit it into their narrative, but they weren't able to do that here.
Right, because this came out undetermined.
interpretation of that, did you interpret that as a serious comment or something said in jest?
I interpreted that as a typical joke from
No,
Trooper DeChico.
why is she's? I
Or
don't.
may I approach to retrieve?
I mean, it
Yes.
doesn't matter, but. But you thought the ME might find it accidental. That was even one of the possibilities.
Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Do you recognize that?
Text messages between myself and Trooper DeChico.
And again, what is the first message sent, date and time, last message sent, date and time, and number of messages contained therein?
First message sent, date and time, April 28th, 2022 at 1:09 p.m.
Okay, blip.
11:45 p.m.
And the number of messages, sir?
One more time.
Read the contents of those messages contained therein. Please indicate who's speaking.
So I started out, of course, it's undetermined. She was a whack job.
Of course, it's undetermined. She was a whack job. Is that the ME now, or?
Everybody's whack jobs. They're all whack jobs.
Trooper DeChico responds, "Dear God, WTF, what the hell is inconclusive about the whole thing?"
And as far as your indication there, as far as she was a whack job, who are you referring to there?
Miss Reed.
It didn't seem like it. How does she influence the
As far as
inconclusive?
the undetermined of what you're talking about, what is sort of the content or the context of this conversation?
That would be the manner of death was determined to be undetermined by the medical examiner's office.
And so I ask you again, as far as your reference there in the bottom of the first page, as far as she was a whack job, whom do you believe you're referring to there?
Again,
Reed or the medical examiner?
Miss Reed.
Bullshit. What? Even Lolly's trying to get him to
May I
admit he's
approach,
done.
John?
Yes.
Sidebar. I think
Oh,
they
Lord.
take lunch. Maybe. I don't know. Or they already do lunch?
You already breezed through a bunch of a break, like a.
Do you recognize those, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
Another text thread between myself, Trooper DeChico, and Trooper Kukowski.
And Trooper Kaskowski is another trooper within your unit in the state police, is that correct?
Yes.
And again, if you could read from the first message sent, date and time, and the last message sent, date and time.
First message sent, date and time, 5/24/2022, 9:21 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, 8/24/2022, 4:56 p.m.
Flip. Give us 5
And that's and Trooper DeChico.
494.
Fair to say the documents before you do not contain first page 2635, first message sent, that's May 24th, it's sent from Trooper Kaskowski, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is that?
Appears to be a picture of a toy Santa Claus.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2644. See the text from yourself at June 9th, 2022 at 11:19 p.m.
June 4th.
June 9th.
Yes.
Very bottom of the page. Your Honor, may I approach just to point it out?
Yes.
Yes.
Bloop.
If you could read what you
Themselves.
Wait, you went too much.
again, sir.
Oh, no, it's because you're a little happy.
If
on
you
the
like women
pooping.
who shit themselves.
2022 around that time, sir.
If you like women who shit themselves.
And again, sir, what is it that you're referring to there?
Again, a regrettable comment I made about Miss Reed's medical condition.
Now, if I could direct you to the following page, 2645. And again, if you could read from that page as far as who is, indicate to the jury who is speaking and what is being said on page 2645.
I'm speaking right now. The statement she made tonight at 8/7 was mental. Thank Christ it was on BWC, which is body worn camera. Trooper Kukowski responds, that's her, smoke. Trooper Kukowski again, what'd she say? I respond, said the Alberts beat the shit out of O'Keefe, left him for dead, and that's why her taillight was cracked. She's gross. Trooper DeChico, oh, fuck her, bitch.
I mean, at least the whole
And
world
approach to retrieve, Your Honor.
is being
Yes.
reminded that cops are just people, and that they've got no more
Sir,
integrity
with
than your
reference to that
average
last bit, as far
person.
as June 9th, 2022,
True.
what was going on that day in reference to this matter again?
And these may have even worse.
Miss
but I'm
Reed,
just
Miss
saying.
Reed was being processed at the Milton Barracks.
Thank you.
I do.
What do you recognize those to be?
Another text thread with members from my office, troopers.
And who are the troopers that are listed within that?
Trooper Chris Moore, Trooper Jeff Kukowski, Lieutenant John Fanning, Trooper Dave DeChico, and Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik.
And what is the first message sent, date and time?
That would be 5/26/2022 at 8:19 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, 8/26/2022, 5:36 p.m.
And what is listed as far as the number of messages within this chain?
651.
And it's fair to say the documents before you do not contain all 651 of those messages within this chain, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2682. You see a message sent from Trooper DeChico on August 17th, 2022 at 9:42 p.m.
Yes.
And is that an image contained on the next page, which is 2683?
Yes, it is.
And what is the image of?
That is a picture of Mr. Yannetti, appears to be from quite some time ago.
Now, turning your attention to the next page, 2684. And there's a response from you, August 17th, 2022 at 9:44 p.m. Is that correct?
We have biofreeze.
I know.
Sorry, so
That
go with the
heat
date and
and-
time again, please.
Biofreeze.
Page 2684, 8/17/2022, 9:44 p.m.
Yes,
You see there's like sort of three responses from you.
I have you now.
If you could just read the three responses from yourself, sir.
Okay, so these came from me. Funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. No nude so far. I hate that man. I truly hate him.
Oh, man. See, I told you
With
that nudes
reference
was
to,
coming in.
The investigation at this point, when you're talking about his client's phone, who are you referring to?
Miss Reed.
And with regards to the phone at that point, can you describe to the jury sort of what's going on during this time period of August 17th, 2022 in regard to Ms. Reed's phone?
So
Well,
after
looking
obtaining a
for
search
nudes.
warrant from Miss Reed's phone, we weren't able to extract any data from it until August of 2023. Troopers in my office knew I was going through the phone that evening. I was most interested in location data,
Nudes
text messages, Google searches.
and nudes.
That was the update I gave the troopers in the office. It was
That was the
a
update.
distasteful joke. I should have gave a proper
That was the update.
instead of that. I wasn't able to go through the phone as thoroughly as possible because I came across some a text between an attorney and Miss Reed, so I had to stop going through her phone, and I made
Oh.
my supervisors aware of those communications.
Please.
Now, just in reference to what you had just said, this is in August of 2022, is that correct?
Correct.
So after a search warrant is obtained for the defendant's phone, where did it go? You indicated you gave it to Trooper Garino, and where did it go?
Trooper Garino essentially hooks it up to a device called Gray Key, where it tries every possible combination passcodes in order to access the data contained in the phone.
And at that time, when you retrieved it pursuant to the search warrant, you didn't have the passcode to the defendant's phone, is that correct?
Correct.
So that device is designed to sort of go through numbers and try to find a combination to get into the phone, correct?
Correct.
And so from the time that you had seized it in late January or on January 29th, 2022, until this date in August of 2022, had you been able to get into the phone or see anything in the phone in those intervening months or 7 months between January and August?
No.
And so then at this time that you're sending this text message in August of 2022, is that around the time that you were first able to access the phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yes, that was the first time we were able to have access to the phone.
So his frustration from not being able to get into the phone's the excuse for being a fucking cocksucker? Is that what it is?
I just don't even
Is that what Lally's point is? Because I don't know what his point is.
I guess that he had a warrant at the time he was looking.
For nudes?
And with reference to your access to the phone, were you looking for nudes or anything like that in regard to the defendant?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Like I stated, I was most interested in Miss Reed's location data, text communications, Google searches, things of that nature.
And nudes.
More evidence contained within the phone.
And nudes.
And so, sir,
Nudes.
you mentioned at some point you came across some information that caused you to sort of freeze your looking through the phone. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so as far as that specific time period in August of 2022, when was the next time that you or any troopers from your office were able to actually look at any extraction of the defendant's phone?
So once I came across that text,
what is the relevance that he keeps asking about this gap in time? Can you figure it out?
I'm assuming that he next starts texting again when he goes through the phone, and he also wants to establish some element of integrity that he stopped. So he's showing that there really was a gap, and that he's explaining that gap is that he stopped.
When he saw the text between Karen and
Right.
text communication that took place on the 29th between Ms. Reed and an attorney. The phone had to be sent off to what they call a taint team to remove any attorney-client privilege information from the phone.
You think there's any chance in hell this guy didn't go through the text?
There is no
zero
chance in hell.
Zero.
Right.
0% chance he didn't go through those texts. Zero.
And then it would be returned to us, as well as defense received a copy of that as well. I'm not positive on the time. It was quite a long turnaround for that process to have be completed.
Sometime at least in the spring or summer of 2023. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
May I approach the retrieve, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we only get a little bit. We're stretch run here, babe. Get a little Jackson.
Wait, that he was done with him?
Yeah. So he ends with the text. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he didn't use Proctor to get any evidence in. None.
He literally just put him on to try to explain why he's calling people retarded. He's so full of shit. He called the Emmy a whack job because she wouldn't go with what he says. And then, I mean, I'm looking for what really, I'm looking for is her location and this. But he's talking to isn't his sergeant in there? Like, that's something that you're saying to your own sergeant.
Your chain of your
right. And no one is saying, you know what, this is inappropriate. I want to put somebody else on.
We get to that.
Specifically, you were sitting at your desk, presumably alone at your office at about 10 p.m. at night, going through my client's personal cell phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, you were sitting there texting with your friends and colleagues at Massachusetts State Police about you going through her personal cell phone. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And that included Trooper DeChico. Is that right?
DeChico, yes, sir.
Trooper Fanning, Trooper Bukhenik, Trooper Moore, and Trooper Kutkowski.
Kakowski.
Tell me that again.
Kakowski.
Kakowski.
Yes, sir.
All right. All the consonants are silent. Fair enough. Trooper Fanning and Trooper Bukhenik are your supervisors.
Yes.
And you were bragging to all 5 of them that you were going through Karen Reed's cell phone about 9:45 at night.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Is that right?
No, I wasn't bragging, sir.
How did you refer to Ms. Reed in that text exchange where you informed them that you were going through her phone?
I used regrettable language. I said going through his retarded client's phone right now.
You were shown a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Unetti, correct?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
She's like, go at it. Do whatever you want.
Same document. I need a copy. Your Honor, I think the court has the copy that I was going to use.
I thought I gave him back to you.
I feel like this entire department should be shut down. Like, I just don't. Is he still working?
Yeah, not only is he working, he's on. I know you're not going to know the case, but the Brian Walshy case. That's the guy who got arrested for. They still haven't found his wife's body, I don't think. But
don't they do psychological evaluations of people? Sorry, go ahead.
It's the same shit that we're always asking about cops. Like cops, like out of any profession, like these guys need to have serious psych evals before they're given that gun and that badge because of the amount of power that they wield with it.
The supervisor needs to be fired.
Normal people like just don't understand like how much power these people have with that gun in this badge. I mean, up until recently, cops would kill people and there's never any blowback. It's in like the last 10 years the cops started being held accountable for shooting and killing people. I mean, is it justified sometimes? Sure. it ain't justified all the time. And when it goes unchecked, that's when shit goes off the rails.
Wait,
Actually,
real
Your
quick,
Honor,
pause
if I
it.
could,
Was Bukhenik, whatever the hell his name is, was he one of the ones that was on desk duty? Oh no, Higgins was. I
What,
think.
the night of?
No, that but like at the time he testified, it was like he was on desk duty. He was taken out of the field. But this guy's supervisor is in a text thread where he is joking.
Jax is going to get to it, maybe.
I would ask that this document be marked as next in order.
I'm just saying he should be seriously
Do you
disciplined.
recognize this document?
I do, sir.
Same document that you were shown, copy of the same document that you were shown by Mr. Yannetti, correct?
Stilali.
I've done that twice. Mr. Lally.
Correct.
All right. Is that a true and accurate reflection of the text messages that you were exchanging with Chris Moore, Jeff Kakowski, John Fanning, Vito DiCicco, and Yuri Bukhenik?
Is he putting even more in or not really?
No, same 5 dudes.
I mean, but the same texts. He's not going to highlight different texts.
No,
Yes.
he's gonna go over these.
Okay, any objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll see you outside on there. Have
I
you-
didn't think he was gonna. When Jay and I were talking about this, like on the cross, I didn't know. Like he kind of glossed over this portion real quickly, which is why I think Jackson decided to start with it, because it's obviously the nudes, you know, calling her retarded and shitting on Yannetti.
Trooper Proctor, Trooper DiCicco had sent you a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Yannetti, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, because of the technical issue, I'm not going to display on the television. May I display this hard copy briefly?
Sure.
Thank you. You see that, gentleman?
I do, sir.
Is that the photograph that you received?
Yes.
Is that what you referred to on direct examination with Mr. Lally about receiving the photograph from Mr. Yannetti?
Correct.
And then your response was what?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
Actually, your response was, I'm going through his retarded client's phone right now, correct?
Yes, after the picture, sir. Yes.
Who's the retarded client?
I was referring to Miss Reed again, unprofessional language.
I'm asking for who you were referring to.
Miss
I know
Reed.
You got an explanation. Who was it you were referring to as retarded?
Miss Reed.
Karen Reed, the woman sitting to my left.
Yes, sir.
The subject of your investigation as a professional, correct?
Yes, sir.
As an unbiased, objective investigator. The person that you were investigating, you referred to your bosses as retarded, correct?
Again, poor language on my part.
Poor language is one way to put it. Completely offensive is another way to put it, right?
Objection.
I've got to sustain that, Mr. Jackson.
She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to.
After you referred to my client as retarded, then you decided to make a comment about Mr. Yannetti, her lawyer, correct?
Correct.
And what did you say about Mr. Yannetti again?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
I hate that man. I truly hate him, correct?
Correct.
You didn't say I dislike him, disagree with him. You said I hate him, correct?
Correct, sir.
That's a visceral response to someone who's just doing a job, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
Sure. Let me ask it this way. Were you upset or annoyed or pissed off that Karen Reed had gotten representation, legal representation, to represent her?
No, not at all. That's her right.
I would never tell my sister anything about the
Well, let me ask you this.
thing next text.
In
Hey, don't tell anybody.
August of 2022, you said you absolutely hate it, correct?
I don't know if I use absolutely. Yeah, I didn't use absolutely, sir.
You used truly, correct?
Truly, yes.
Like it's absolutely was.
Sitting right there.
I still don't care for him, no.
Right. I'll let it stand.
Did you hear it?
I don't care for him. No. Because
What did you tell your colleagues that you were looking for as you sat at almost 10 p.m. at night on a Wednesday night, August 17th, 2022, looking through Karen Reed's phone?
I didn't tell them I was looking through anything. They knew I was going through Miss Reed's phone. I provided a inappropriate joke as an update. They knew I was going through location data, text messages, Google searches. But like I had mentioned earlier, I had to stop.
Except Trooper Proctor, none of that really
None of that.
professional sounding stuff.
None of
ended
that.
up in your comments to your bosses, did it?
Again, it was a poor joke.
Is that yes or no?
Did you not know?
It did not.
No,
As a
sir.
matter of fact, what did you write after you talked about going through the quote retarded client's phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Damn right you will.
No nude so far.
No nudes so far,
Mhm.
correct?
Correct.
When
The
said
same
that
woman
to
you
your
said was a
bosses,
smoke show, but
Yes, sir.
leaked poop out of her ass or something.
You were looking for naked photographs of Miss Reed on a Wednesday night as you sat in your office at 9:44 p.m., correct?
No, not correct.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked for naked photos of a male suspect that you were investigating?
I don't look for naked photos in anyone's phones.
But you said you were looking for nudes of Miss Reed,
Like I had
correct?
said, Mr. Jackson, it was an inappropriate joke.
Sir, this is a citizen. She's a woman. You were supposed to be objectively investigating. Does your text message to your colleagues at Massachusetts State Police reflect an objective investigation of a citizen?
Objection.
You can get part of that question and ask it again.
She's helping him. She's helping
Do
him.
you
It was
believe-
compound.
That your text messages were reflective of an objective investigator?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Do you believe that, Trooper Proctor?
I believe poor jokes have, in unprofessional language, have no bearing on the integrity and the facts and physical evidence of this case.
He
It's not
just
that they
keeps-
don't have any bearing on the facts and integrity. It's that they have no place in a professional investigation because it shows bias, right?
Objection.
So I have to sustain that as asked. Go ahead and ask it differently, Mr.
right,
Jackson.
compound.
You weren't so much as objectively investigating Karen Reed as objectifying her, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Isn't that right?
Rephrase the question, please.
You
No.
weren't so much
Say it
as
again.
objectively investigating her as objectifying her in those moments, correct?
Correct.
Again, Mr. Jackson, it was a poor choice of words and a joke that I should not have texted out. But from the start of the investigation, we didn't know what we had.
And your Trooper Proctor, your point in saying no nudes so far to your colleagues in Massachusetts State Police was to suggest that you were looking for nudes and you'd update them when you found them, correct?
Incorrect.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you find any nudes of
Again.
Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photos, sir.
Did you find any nudes of Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photos, sir.
You weren't successful in your quest.
I came across text messages from Miss Reed to another attorney on January 29th, so I had to stop looking through her phone.
So you got sidetracked before you could get to the naked pictures of Miss Reed. Is that what you're saying?
Sustained.
To be clear, when you sent those text messages
Would be a former manslaughter.
on that group chat, those text messages included, as we said, or as you said,
Not
not
negative.
one, but two of your supervisors, correct?
Correct.
Were you ever reprimanded for your conduct in sending that text message?
Objection.
So that's sustained. Do we need to go to sidebar based on what you told me earlier?
We do not.
Okay, so,
I'll ask it a different way.
okay.
Did either Trooper Fanning or Trooper Bukhenik dress you down in a responsive text message in that text thread for doing something so abhorrent as looking for nudes or referring to nudes of a female suspect or subject of your investigation? Did that ever happen?
Not that I can recall.
As a matter of fact, in reference to one of the text messages in the same string,
Oh, please.
your boss, Yuri Bukhenik, actually responded to the photo of Mr. Yannetti, didn't he?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
He did, sir.
After you received the photo, that's when you said, I'm, quote, funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. Is that right?
Objection.
I'll allow this, but not too many.
Sure. Is that correct? It's on the top of page
Yes, sir.
685.
That's correct.
And your Bukhenik liked that comment. Funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. Didn't it?
I see you laughed at an image here, sir. I
You're
can't tell if
actively
he
involved in this conversation.
liked that comment, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
It's not even like he's missing them.
I don't know if
He's
it's just because it's faded
Actively
or.
involved in them.
Yeah, my copy's faded.
What do you see on the top of that page?
That Sergeant Bukhenik liked it.
Like what?
The going through his retarded client's phone, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'll take my copy.
There you go.
There's some. And he's still
So
a
your supervisors at
supervisor.
Massachusetts State Police not only didn't
What is
ride
the
you for
commissioner
making comments
doing
like
over
this,
there?
he encouraged it.
Objection.
He did though.
Sustained.
Trooper Proctor, this is your direct chain of command. Is that right? You're a Bukhenik.
Yes, sir.
Did you believe that your conduct was a misuse of your authority and power as you were going through her phone in August of 2022?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Gonna say no.
No, I had a warrant signed by a district clerk, Stoughton District Clerk, to go through Miss Reed's phone. I don't
And
think it
look
was
for
an
news.
abuse of power. I had every right to go through that phone.
And look for
Did
news.
the warrant say anything about looking for news of my client?
Objection.
Did it
No, Your
say anything about that?
no, Your Honor.
Okay, next question.
So that would be an abuse of the power that was given to you by the court, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
She's like, all right, I've let you go enough. I mean, he should
Trooper
be
Proctor,
tying these
you'd
right back
agree
in
that
with
the
the
hallmark of
smoke
any
show. Is she hot? Is she,
Good
you know what I mean?
investigation,
Yeah.
as you've been taught and others in Massachusetts State Police have been taught, is that the investigation and the investigator have to be fair. They have to be impartial. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Meaning that the investigation has to be free of conflicts, right?
Yes, sir.
The investigator has to be free of conflicts, right?
Yes,
The investigation
bias.
has to be free of bias.
Right.
Is that right?
correct.
You can't be biased
Calling
against
people
the person that you're investigating.
jobs.
That would compromise the entire thing, wouldn't it?
Yes.
He called her. He was like calling her insane and a whack
Basically.
job. Like hours later. Hours later.
Yeah.
Scooping up. Do you know how much of that plastic had nothing to do with her car? He had absolutely no reason at that point in time to think even if he thought she might have accidentally hit her, just like his friends said. And I don't know if some of those other people were cops or not cops, but they're like, oh, so she hit him and didn't realize it and left him there, it was accident, and he's like, no one's gonna be able to prove one way or the other, so we're gonna go with intentional. And he's already calling her a whack job. He didn't have any reason to be.
Tunnel vision, man. He
Nope.
was like,
Is there gonna be some problems for the people in that house? I
nope.
mean, it's like nope.
You follow the evidence. You're supposed to follow the evidence wherever it takes you, right?
Correct.
Good or bad, top to bottom, just
You
follow
better
the
be getting
evidence
to a
and
note
report it
right
back.
now.
That's how an investigation is supposed to be run, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And these are things that you learn early on at Massachusetts State Police Academy and then in your detective training. Isn't that right?
It is.
And literally, it's part of an oath that you took at the academy that you will, quote, faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent on you as a Massachusetts State Police trooper, right?
Yes, sir.
You swore that oath.
I did.
when you start an investigation, everybody in that investigation should be treated exactly the same. Don't you believe that's true?
Correct.
Everybody, have you ever heard the phrase, everybody's a suspect until they're not? Right?
Objection.
Sustained.
He said, yeah, though.
It's especially important early in an investigation, before all of the facts are known, that the investigator is not compromised by bias, prejudice, right?
Correct.
Most important early in the investigation, because that's when the most things are up in the air. There's the cloud, the fog of not knowing exactly what the truth is, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
In other words, Trooper Proctor, you don't get to pick a suspect and then try to find evidence to support your choice, right?
Correct.
But in this case,
That's
it's
exactly what you did.
Absolutely not.
All right, Mr. Jackson, why don't we end for today?
Oh, that he needed to get that nope in right then. I mean, he'll just start over with it.
Yeah. So yeah, court's dark tomorrow. Back
The very first thing that he said, I want to hear that, or maybe you remember it, was I talked to Jen McCabe and she said she's a friend of yours, or Jen McCabe told me she's a friend of yours. Like, I'm still thinking, like, so they talked about that, and I can't remember if she denied that on the stand, like that. No, we didn't talk about that, But I thought Jen McCabe,
Proctor, like
yeah,
Proctor and Jen McCabe proper.
yeah, that was the very first text, wasn't it?
Between him and his wife.
No, him and his sister. That he reached out to the sister and said something like, I talked to Jen McCabe and she said she was a friend of yours. And then I thought he was that she was responding as though he was playing stupid when she said,
She said, like, cut the shit.
Right.
Right.
I wanted to, I don't know.
I mean, I could go back and try to find it.
I don't know if it's all that important, but
I mean,
him trying to spell his words.
Well, I think if Jackson, he'll work his way backwards through the text, I think. And we'll find out if there's more.
Oh, he's not leaving the C word out.
There's no way.
I mean, because I think that was the one that was like super, super early on.
Yeah, that was like the 29th or the 1st.
I mean, it definitely shows a clear bias. And the nope, I mean, come on. Like, he's telling whatever they're not, she must have excluded certain portions of this, but he said whatever he said to his friends, and they're like, oh, I mean, serious trouble. And he's trying to say, I don't even know how he gets off trying to explain that, but I'm sure that it's going to be, Lolly's going to be on it. You got to get to some questions. Do you think they brought confusing numbered plastic pieces to say, look at all the evidence? Seems like the DA tactic, irrelevant DNA. I don't even know. I swear to you, I don't think Lolly even knows, because based on his question about the plastic, he posed the question to Ashley on piece 7-6, which is pieces that were picked up on 129. Those are two clear pieces of plastic. They didn't have anything to do with the recreation, but I did confirm that they matched the pictures that O'Hara put in. And right before that, 7.5, I've confirmed at least one for sure. There's another one that Bob and I dispute over, but one for sure there's a photograph of in 7.6. He asked her, the label on here, which that label says the date is February 4th, is the date of collection. So if he thought that those pieces were from January 29th and that they were in the taillight, why would he pose the question like that? I mean, we know he was wrong now because we've seen other labels where it's not like that, but either I don't know what's going on. Like, is he not even want to be trying this?
I mean,
his bosses are making him try it.
I think that what the problem for Lally is he's stuck with an absolute first shit investigation where no chain of custody was really established at all.
Right.
The work was so slow. I mean, the prosecutor's only as good as his cops.
Right.
The prosecutor's chain of custody is only as good as the cops make it in terms of what he can go through to establish when things were found, when they were documented, when they were bag tagged, and when they
Right.
moved on. And like that just didn't happen in this case.
No.
It, like,
But let
dude,
me address Nick's question.
okay.
Absolutely not all of the pieces were used. There were several pieces and combinations of pieces. So remember, she took all the pieces that she found across the different items and tried to make bigger pieces. She made 5 bigger pieces. Piece 1 was the reconstruction of the taillight. Piece 2, 3, 4, and 5 were not included at all in the reconstruction of the taillight. I don't know if we're going to hear from somebody else who somehow still says that that's some other part of her vehicle, but as of now, and then there's a ton of pieces that just had nothing to do with anything. So you've got to think about the fact that you're on an open road and it's snowed, and presumably I understand that it wouldn't have been the officials is what you're expecting to hear, but maybe someone like Brian Higgins that had a plow. Somebody moved snow from the middle of the road to the edge. So they're picking up anything. But I was able to look at the pictures that CERT put on through O'Hara and confirm that some of those 123 pieces of plastic were in fact in what she examined. And one of them, she claims one piece from 7.5 is in the taillight. And based on a little back and forth that we did today with lots of different people, it seems I'm in the minority of of identifying that piece. And there's one piece that's been basically identified as being the same as the one on the snow. But in any event, my point to that is Lolly's asking the question as though he thinks that piece was recovered on February 4th. Either he doesn't even know his own case, or he really doesn't even want to be doing this. I don't know.
I mean, he was handed a big stinking pile of shit by Morrissey, who decided to proceed with this thing. I mean, it's no different from a prosecutor when your boss tells you you're taking a case to trial. You take the case to trial. The same way that we're dealt, that we have to play the hand that we're dealt in terms of our cases. It's the same for a prosecutor whose boss is telling him, you're taking this thing to trial, dude. Like, I'm not giving you a choice in the matter. So, I mean, my biggest problem thus far with Proctor is we heard very little, to be honest with you, in terms of the text messages that came out that really are trending towards a cover-up. Like there's nothing that we've heard so far. We heard a couple of things that make you go, but there doesn't appear to be this, this smoke that's like, wow, holy shit, this cover-up thing's really going down. But
right, there's
again, is Proctor stupid enough to be talking to his family members or other troopers via text messages about a cover-up? I would hope not. He's a cop.
No.
And
again, it could have just been, even if they, like you were saying, if they don't know it's a cover-up and he just thinks he's framing who he believes to be a hot smoke show pooping C-word retarded whack job, then no, I don't think that's something. Even when you're saying stuff like this, you never, even if you're texting something inappropriate, there's certain things that especially as a cop, like, I'm not going to put that in a text. Like, that's phone call or in-person communication
For
only.
sure.
Wait, but you didn't read, somebody else's thing was up and you didn't read it. We got to
I
read.
didn't pull it down. I think it's Mandy getting a little.
Because she's thinking we want to end soon. So she wants to make sure we get all these.
I know, she's smart. We do
all these people, right? But I want to put back. All right, so We did.
So
Did we do
Nikki,
this
I
one?
mean, I'm gonna
Oh, sorry. What did
yeah,
Nikki say?
yeah. Check out Melanie and Allie's stream from yesterday. They did a deep dive into the plastics.
Although I've done deeper now since and was able to confirm that one piece on 129, what like that I could see with my eyes, because there is no chain of custody for it. So it could have gone in any time before they sealed the bag at 4 p.m. But after very close inspection of the pieces in the snow, I was able to confirm that at least one of the pieces of the 3 red pieces collected on January 29th was picked up from the snow on January 29th. And then I was also O'Hara identified 6 pieces. One piece, we couldn't see it with the naked eye, but he's like, there's a piece right here. There were only 5 pieces collected on 129, according to what is in evidence bags. 3 pieces of red plastic, one of which was, according to the lab, included in part 1, which is the taillight, and 2 pieces of clear plastic that make up a different piece that, as of now, is not associated with the taillight and definitely wasn't associated um, with the reconstruction of the taillight. So I don't know what her question was, but my theory, my point on the last stream was, we don't know what was in that bag. We don't know where it came from because no one's testified to it. There's no chain of evidence, and it wasn't sealed until February 4th. And Lolly is literally putting into evidence that February 4th is the date of collection. So I thought for sure it wasn't collected on January 29th, because why is Lolly asking the question? The date on this tag is a collection date when the date said January 29th. And I also found it very strange that they only put the label in. They didn't put the other side of the bag in that has all the writing like we're seeing on some of the other bags. So it was all very strange, but digging through on my own and closely looking at like the pictures, I was able to see something picked up on 129 that was in the 7.5 and 7.6 items of evidence that she, being Ashley, examined. So I think so. Karen, thank you very much. I think Proctor got bombarded with people in the house pushing their story, and he wanted to be with the cool crowd and steered the investigation, then tried to help, then had to keep helping and had to cover his helping then dominoes. I mean, good point, Karen.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think, did we get to so Chrissy had just said she had said, Allie and Bob, thank you for diving into the case as a local. I'm so thankful. The more eyes, the better, for sure. And then can Proctor lose his job over this shit? I mean, he should.
I just you have to know that there's a federal investigation, like the Illinois State Police overall, like they're on top of this. You would think they're already aware of this, already paying attention. How none of these people are disciplined for any of this,
Oh, you mean
especially
Massachusetts State Police?
Massachusetts. What did I say?
Illinois. Freudian slip.
Massachusetts State Police. It's to
Well,
me, it's shocking.
It is to me too, but like that's what I was saying. The Brian Walshy case is like a huge case. It's like the wife murdering case where he does all the internet searches and like his kids were at the house and like they find like bloody tarps and shit, and
I remember you
the
did tell
back
me about
seat
this.
of the car was down and there was like tar, and he's like, they have him at stores buying all this shit. It's a crazy case, but he's one of the leads on that case. Like this guy has now tainted the entire Massachusetts State's Police because like they're all shitheads.
No, but so has his boss.
That's what I'm saying. Up the
I-
chain of custody or up the chain of command, they're all shitheads.
Right.
Bukhenik is like liking, oh, you know, your retard client, the retard. It's like, at the end of the day,
Just means
what
he
the
was
jury
paying-
is pulling from this is that they can't trust
They
this
can't be
dude.
trusted.
They
Right.
can't, like, it's that simple.
They have
It's
no
like
integrity.
they have zero integrity. This guy like tunnel visioned on Karen Reed early on, like you were saying, at a point in time when he had no business tunnel visioning on anybody.
Right.
Like saying nope to
Nope,
his, like,
right.
are you going to look at Brian Albert? Are you going to look at the cop? Nope. Like, immediately.
Right.
Like, what is his basis for saying that?
Not like, I doubt it. I'm sure he wasn't involved. He's a cop.
Right.
His answer was, oh, that guy's gonna, nope. He's not gonna have any explaining to do. Icy Cat, $5. Thank you so much. As rude and disgusting as his attitude is in the text, this is a false flag to distract away from his other misconduct. And it could be, they're like, hey, just look over here at how he did this other stuff and don't really think about like the actual, this is the worst of it. You've seen it here. Wait, you're skipping over.
We saw all these.
All right, so I don't know if that's directed at us. I don't know who anybody is. I don't watch court TV unless Bob's on it, and I'm supporting my husband. So I'm sorry if I said something that and didn't
To
give
who?
Nick Rocco his due.
I think he was answering somebody else in the chat.
Well, okay. Well, it was over here is starred, so
Mandy put it over there, I think. So all right, that's it. I'm calling it.
Wait, did we do everybody?
All of them.
Did you read this? You read this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like Julie. It could even be you. I don't know if it was you, if you were at CrimeCon who gave, I've had so many people coming at me about looking at Zachariah Anderson's case.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that. We do have to do that.
Yeah. Multiple people have come at me like, you really need to look at this case. And I'm aware. I watched like the better part of that trial, and it was a no body case. They really didn't have any evidence against the guy. Like, he definitely was doing stupid shit during trial, like mouthing shit to his daughter when she was on the stand. Like, he didn't help himself, but none of that makes him a murderer per se. So there's definitely that's a case that we're definitely going to be looking at. So I think that's it. I think we got everybody else up. We had some very generous donations.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, y'all. It's been a really long day for me. I am traveling to Philly tomorrow. I will be coming live with Jay on Wednesday from the Jersey Shore. So make sure you check us out there. If you haven't tonight, please like, share, subscribe, do all the things that make the algorithm happy on YouTube. It really helps our show. We hit 20,000 last night. So thank you to all of you that sub to us. It means the world to us.
And don't forget to sub to the Shaming of Jay so you don't miss court days on their stream.
Exactly. And those guys, if you're interested in the Wade Wilson case, they're going to be doing nightly recaps because Jay and I are covering this trial of
thanks, Gail.
Thanks, Gail. Of that trial every night until Reed's done, and then if that case is still going, I think Jay's going to pivot over to that Wade Wilson case. It's a crazy case. Guy looks like a complete psychopath. So all right, that's it. We did pretty good. I mean, we finished in half the time that we did on our first recap. So, all right, y'all, to our mods, thank you once again. Another long day for you all as well. We love you. We thank you. To all of you beautiful people out there that hang with us every time we come live and watching the replay crew. Please, again, remember, like, share, subscribe. If you really dig us, think about becoming a member. We do some member-only stuff, and we really appreciate the support. So
thanks,
we love you, because without you, I'd just be an old man.
Talking about a lot of cases.
Boop.
Hard to